Hello and welcome to Tarot Sherpa. I'm Christine, and today I will be reading to you from the Tarot of the Woodland Wardens by Jessica Rue. It is a relatively newly published deck, and I'm just going to do a regular Celtic Cross reading with this deck, and we'll see where we go with this. All right, so the energy of our reading today is going to be the Chariot. I'll put that down right here in the middle-ish. So the Chariot, this is talking about an energy of moving forward, an energy of willpower, an energy of momentum, focus, drive, but also the need to kind of maybe rein a few things in. Maybe you want to go in a particular direction, but you've got to do a little bit of you've got to drive the chariot because these little donkeys are just going to go willy-nilly if you don't give them some direction. So it's time to step into the driver's seat. All right. What's the situation we're looking at? Judgment in reverse. Judgment in reverse. So we're looking at a situation where perhaps you need to apply some willpower because you're you're going off the mark. You're not following through on the things that you feel called to do. So let's look. So give a little adjustment here. Or not. Okay. So looking here, the energy is chariot. The situation is you haven't been able to get things going in the right direction yet. Opportunity or the opposition is the Page of Cups. We got the crab in a hat. A crab wearing a hat. I just think that is the most hilarious thing, and I'm trying desperately not to laugh my head off right now. Crab in a hat, Page of Cups. So this can indicate possibly what might be stealing your focus because the Page of Cups has a lot of inspiration. He's got a lot of ideas and creativity, but he just doesn't really know what to do with it yet. He's excited about being excited. And there's a fish in his cup. What to do about the fish? The fish represents inspiration. What do you do with the inspiration? Okay, so now it's time to harness some of that willpower and take it. King of Wands. So here's what you need. Here's your doing. Here's what needs to be done, and that is taking action. I love this King of Wands. It's the salamander. Got to take some action on the ideas and the inspiration that you already have. So while you've got a lot of willpower, it doesn't look like in this situation you've made a lot of headway yet. Well, now is the time. The guidance here is saying it's time to make some decisions and move out on them. This is the ultimate doer card. This is the ultimate go get it done card in the deck. King of Wands. In the root, inverted, Two of Wands. You've had some trouble deciding which way to go. Maybe there's been several options that you've had and you just haven't been able to decide between the two. And it's been a little bit frustrating. You're a little bit, let's draw out here a little bit. You're a little bit concerned maybe with the direction you're going. You haven't quite stepped out yet. King of Wands is saying it's time to go. It's time to go. Where you been in the past? What's been going on in the past? Two of Pentacles. So we got 2 and a 2, and they're both inverted. This is kind of talking about a lack of balance. Trying to balance maybe your personal and your professional life, or a balance between your Pentacles. I'm going to keep the personal and professional life here. I'm going to go with things that are in your physical material world, the things that you can put your hands on and place some visible effect too, and you've had a hard time with some competing demands. There's been competing demands on your time. So that's what's made it really difficult to take charge and move out here like this King of Wands. You've had some competing demands, you've had some uncertainty, you and you just haven't known which way to go, but you've had a lot of inspiration. Six of Cups in reverse. There's been a little bit of looking backwards, and there's a continuing to look backwards. Six of Cups represents nostalgia, but in the reverse here, we're kind of talking about a nostalgia that's keeping you from being able to make any progress. So this is the kind of dangerous nostalgia where you keep thinking that everything in the past was always better, and that keeps you from making anything new in the future. But the clear guidance here, the clear direction is to take a hold of this, use this inspiration, and keep moving forward. All right, so how's this looking for you? Queen of Cups in reverse. You're looking a little bit non-committal there. People are not really thinking that you have a lot of sincere desire to go into this, to work on this project. So this could be a little bit problem if you're looking for support from other people. Because if you want other people to support you, and maybe part of this balancing is you've got so much on your plate you can't do anything new. You may need some help either at work to start a new project or at home to be able to start something. And people need to know that you're serious and that you're not feeling that from you right now. They think that you just, this is just another crab in the hat idea and you're not getting anywhere with it. All right, what's your environment like? Seven of Pentacles in reverse. It's not looking real fruitful right now. Not a fruitful environment. All right, let's keep going with this. Hopes and fears getting shot down. Getting shut down. Outcome 5 of Wands. Some training. Some exercise. Okay. All right, now that we know where this is going. Okay. Because this is part of what you need to do to get this done. So, you've got an idea that you feel very strongly about, but it's time to get in the driver's seat because you have not been making any progress towards it at all. But you've got some good inspiration, you've got some good ideas. You've got to hold them. You've got a pretty strong grip on them. But you've been so tied up with so many other things, you haven't had any energy to devote to making this move forward. And you're looking backwards and you're thinking, oh, before I took this job, before I had these kids, before I moved to this place, before, whatever is your before, it's not as great as what you're remembering it to be. Because here's the deal. It's time with this King of Wands to take charge and move out. It is time to grab a hold of this idea, and one of the ideas that you have, just do one thing. One thing. Pick one thing that's going to get you closer to your goal and do that thing. Trying to do 2 things, 3 things, 4 things at a time, perhaps, it hasn't worked out because it's too much at once. One thing. Pick one thing and be serious about it. People don't see you as a serious person with this idea. Be serious. And you don't have to go like bully boss people around saying, I'm serious, I'm serious. The more you tell other people you're serious, the more they're going to be like, yeah, right. If you were serious, you'd be doing this one thing and moving out. So less talk, more action. Less talk, more action. 7 of Pentacles. It's really time to kind of take stock of what's worked and what hasn't, because you've been throwing some energy at something and it's not bringing to fruition because you're not studying the effects. You're not gathering all the data. Maybe you're trying one thing for a day and then the next thing you're trying a different thing and the next thing you're trying a different thing. And no, you've got to slow down and try one thing all the way through. All the way through. Take the idea to its complete logical conclusion. Because if you try one thing one day and then the next day you're going to try another thing, the next day you're going to try, people are looking at you like, this person is not serious, they don't know what they want, they're being very superficial, they're just chasing something. But you've got to take the time, with the Seven of Pentacles to really study what it is that you're doing and figure out what it takes to make that one thing grow. One thing at a time. One thing at a time. So you're looking at your fears right here. You're looking back and life used to be so good before I moved, before I had kids, before I got married, before I got in this relationship, before I got in this job, before I. Let me say that again. Don't be looking at before. Before is gone. It's over. It doesn't matter anymore. Okay? Do you hear what I'm saying? Let it go. Just like that Disney song, Let It Go. Yeah. The overplayed, yeah, the overplayed. You know why it was overplayed? Because people need to let go. Hopes and fears, 10 of arrows. We have this poor little creature pierced by arrows. 10 of arrows is an ending. You're fearing a really grisly ending to whatever project or undertakings that you're trying to do. And here's the problem. Here's the problem is laid out in your fears. If you look, this little creature is pierced by 10 different arrows. Lots of different things going on at once. You know why that is? Because you're scattered. You're scattered. No, pull it together. Way back to the beginning. Come back to the beginning with me. Back to the chariot. We got all these donkeys. And you know how cooperative donkeys are reported to be. They want to go every which way. No, you got to pull it together. Pull it together. And how you do that is you give it a common focus. You sit there and yell at these donkeys, oh, you guys got to get it together. It is going to make them scatter. You're going to spook the herd. They're going to go in every direction, and you're not going to get anywhere. Takes focus. Give them a mission. Give them the carrot that they need to drive towards to pull that chariot. One thing. Pick one thing. Figure out what it takes to get good at that one thing. Figure it out. Analyze it. Get professional data on your project if you have to, if that's appropriate to what you're working on. Do the research. Do the research. I got a little anecdote about that. So I had a friend who used to work at the Pentagon, and I don't remember. He was in the Air Force, and he was doing something with air cargo, getting stuff places for people, all kinds of people. The United States Air Force flies all kinds of stuff all over the world every single day. It's absolutely astounding if people only knew. So this friend, and he was talking about the time that Angelina Jolie came to the Pentagon. Yeah, Angelina Jolie is a regular at the Pentagon. Did you guys know that? Angelina Jolie is heavily into working with the UN on matters with children, and particularly in Southeast Asia, where she's adopted from, she's adopted several children from there. And a lot of people would think, like, Angelina Jolie, really? Action actress? Why is she at the Pentagon? Let me tell you, my one friend who's a super smart guy says she does her research. That woman walks in there and she knows exactly what she's going to talk about. She has done all of the research, and she has actually been able to tell the US Air Force, like, hey, if you do X, Y is going to happen. And then the Air Force is like, whoa, we didn't think about Y. We didn't think about Z either. But you just brought that to our attention. Thank you, Ms. Jolie. Do your research. Do your research. If you want X to happen, you need to look into all of the possible consequences, and that takes research. There's a web of things out there that you need to be aware of. Okay? So as you're sitting here looking towards the past and being all stressed out about all of these things that you're worried about happening, or nothing's happening, or you're just all freaked out about it, stop. Stop. So the outcome, 5 of Wands, and it looks like you might take some of this advice and actually do a little training, get a little practice, narrow things down. 5 of Wands is about sorting the chaos. It's about bringing some things together. It's about working with other people that may have competing ideas and how to get people with different ideas to work together. It's a little bit of a brainstorming card. And you need to pick the people you brainstorm with, you need to pick people who know what they're talking about. You can find a lot of other crabs and hats. They're good idea fairies. Plenty of crabs and hats out there. Plenty of people with fun ideas. And that's super. We need people with ideas. But you've got to narrow it down and figure out what you're going to work on. What is that focus going to be? What is that focus going to be? So, yes, get serious. Get serious about your project, your idea, your dream, but do your homework. Do your homework. If you want to invent a new product, figure out what the market is for that product before you go spending a whole lot of money and trying to get investors and stuff like that when you don't even know if you've got a market for your product. Figure that out first. Figure that out first. It's I've known some people who had, they were inventors and they were doing the getting in touch with venture capitalists and having the dinners and the seminars and everything to go with their product, only to find out that their product was so complicated that somebody who had the same idea but could do it simpler beat them to market. Yeah, plenty of investment and ideas and all of that into something that was really cool, but somebody who had the same idea only simpler, they were able to make it smaller, faster, lighter weight, get it to more people. You got to know your market. You got to simplify. And you got to know what it's actually worth. There's plenty of people who put price tags on stuff out there, and a price tag could, while that does indicate money, it can also indicate the expenditure of any resource. So if you want, to create a new game app or something like that for a phone, is it going to be something people want to spend their time doing? So think of that kind of price tag. I mean, that may not have anything to do with what you're working on right now or your ideas. If you're going to write a book, is it something that people are going to want to read? Is it going to give them, either help them be smarter, um, uplifting sense of triumph at the end, or is it Romeo and Juliet where everybody dies and you're like, huh? Well, that's sad. Not to bash too much on William Shakespeare. I don't have a problem with Romeo and Juliet, just as an example. But don't waste your time looking back. Please, 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 please do not waste your time. Do not waste your time thinking the grass was greener 5 years ago, 7 years ago, 10 years ago, 6 years ago, whatever. It's a Six of Cups, whatever it was. It wasn't. It really wasn't greener. You just don't remember how hard it was. You're just not remembering that, and you didn't have this idea then to make it. The ideas come to you now because you have the means to be able to follow through on this. And that's what this judgment, this situation is. You have the ability and the means. You just don't have the focus right now. So simplify and find your focus. You've got the ideas, but you've got to pull yourself together. You got to take a deep breath and go one step at a time. Maybe, you're trying to go 10 steps at a time, and that doesn't work that way. Obviously, that's why you're watching this video going, oh, God, I don't know what I'm going to do. And all of a sudden you find this video, and here I am. I'm telling you, you got to study your market. You got to do your homework. You got to get your training in. You got to get your reps in. You got to get with people who are going to understand and be able to help you hone your idea. You don't necessarily want a bunch of people who are going to sit around and agree with you. Oh, that's great, Betty. That's great, Bob. That's not going to help you. You need the Angelina Jolie that's like, did you think about this? Because if you do this, that's going to happen. They're like, oh, I see what you mean. So, yeah, you've got some work to do. You've got some work to do. It's not other people's work, it's your work. While you can certainly have staff people look up research for you, you have to know what to ask. Well, I'm going to get on an AI segue right now. People talk about AI, taking over jobs, doing this, doing that. Oh, this picture was made with AI. This stuff was tampered with AI, or this article or speech or report or whatever was written with AI. Okay, to get AI to do anything though, and you can make AI do a lot of amazing things, you have to ask it the right thing and give it the right parameters. There's still something you have to do. AI can't do all of this for you. You have to know what you're asking. You have to know what the parameters are. You have to be able to refine that work. And that's with AI, that's with a staff, that's with friends, that's with coworkers, that's with people in your relationships, your family, whatever. You've got to be able to quantify and specify. So that's the work that these happy little critters and crabs and hats and salamanders, that's what they're telling you. But you've got to be sincere. This insincerity, feeling like you're hiding something from people, that's not going to get you anywhere. You're not going to get the support you need. You're not going to be able to find that balance. And you're just going to be looking back of, wow, life was so much better when fill in whatever that blank is for you. Okay. Okie dokie, friends. I think I've laid some tough love out on you. And I don't mean to be too hard on you, but I think you kind of needed somebody to break it down a little bit and give you the business. Yeah. Okay. Well, you know what you need to do. I hope you take action on that. And I thank you for watching. Take care. Bye for now.